All the way back, there are some people who say that when Moses came down the mountain and had the gleam in his eye that is described...
That wasn't purely a religious gleam?
That it wasn't purely organic. Well, it may have been organic, but it wasn't organic from the mind or from
Hashem.
From Hashem, exactly.
I talk about that in the book, actually, too.
You talk about Moses taking drugs in your book?
Well, not taking drugs, but the Quran is what they call it. You know, when he has the shining face, when he receives it and his face burns. Like, whenever you see an angel, the same thing happens to Ezekiel and Enoch, too, who are the only, other people that ascend to heaven without dying. There's a special thing that happens to you called the Quran, which also gets translated as horns, like that you get horns, which is kind of like Pan and Hermes are always depicted with horns, so I think that's a little interesting. There's that, the Michelangelo of Moses, he's got horns on him. I put that in the book too. But yeah, there's a specific thing that happened to him up on the mountain when he received that, and it broke open his head, which is what the shamanic term is that Merceliad says that when you receive that ecstasy, you literally break out of your head. That's a lot like in Judaism, what the reference kind of sounds like. It's very similar to a lot of shamans when they describe ecstasy.
What's your background?
I'm a librarian. I kind of go from library to library, and I work right now at the Philosophical Research Society in their library. And
what's the Philosophical Research Society?
It was founded by this man named Manly Hall, which is his real name. I know it's hard to swallow, but actually Louis Sahagan wrote his biography, which Adam also put out. Adam and Jody put it out just this last year, and he was just an eccentric occultist that was into all religions and all philosophies and comparing them and seeing how they're the same. He's kind of, big in the cult world, I guess you'd say. The Secret Teachings of All Ages was his biggest book, and it literally has an introduction to every occult, esoteric thought in every tradition. It's pretty amazing. So I work in his library that has his collection of books that he got over the course of his life, and it's completely amazing in there. Is
this a physical space?
It's a physical space, yeah, it is. A state of mind. Yeah, you can go there if you and just go into ecstasy. No, it's actually just
That's
over.
A physical location.
It's a physical location on Los Feliz and Griffith Park Boulevard. You can go in. We let the public look at the books. You can't take them out of the building because, of course, they never come out.
So are you like an occultist, aka devil worshiper?
No, I don't worship the devil. I guess it's hard to say what my religion is. I mean, I study all kinds of different religions.
Would you have been burned like in the 17th century Salem trial?
Probably.
I think you would have been burned or drowned. I'm not sure which.
Really? What do you get? I would prefer burning, so hopefully that's maybe what happens.
Why would you prefer burning to drowning?
I just like the idea of ascending by fire rather than falling with water. I'd rather go quicker with fire and kind of dissipate faster. Whereas if you drown, it's like you're way down and it's all watery. But I'm a fire sign in astrology, so it's probably my preference.
Do you believe that there's validity to astrology?
It comes and goes, my belief. I tell you what, I do people's charts and they freak out when I do their charts. Some people don't talk to me again afterwards because they're freaked out by how much I know about them. So I feel like I'm pretty good at reading charts, and I've called things that people say are 100% true. So by that, I would say that I have found it to be true. But then, I'm very discerning and I have that science background, so I have to read about it and I'm like, I don't know. So I waver a little bit by what's true and what's intuitive and what has to be part of the logical system. It's a hard one for me. Have you ever had
So maybe
chart?
you're a waverer.
A waverer, that's, yeah.
I think I can see
my new movement will be called the Waverists. Yeah.
Right. No, I've never had a chart.
There's this thing, with the sidereal time where people are using a system that's thousands of years old, and actually the constellations are not in that spot anymore.
Right. Isn't it
if I'm
physically, scientifically proven that this is nonsense?
It's true. The constellations are not in the same spot. So if I'm Sagittarius, actually, I'm really a couple constellations over because of what's reflected right now. So there's a lot of astrologers that are shifting to the new time, which is actually reflective of reality.
Are you one of these new astrologers, or are you a traditional?
You have to, because that's how it is.
So that's
in reality.
how you do it. When you read, you use
the traditional ones.
You use the traditional paradigm.
Because that's what everyone's familiar with. So,
exactly.
But I really think everybody needs to shift, because it's just kind of pretending otherwise. I don't know. It's hard.
So did you go to college?
I did.
And what did you study?
In college, I studied biochemistry, and then I also have a master's degree in transformational psychology.
Is that from a regular university or from one of those spiritual universities?
It's from a spiritual university that's accredited, nationally accredited.
Which one?
It's called the University of Philosophical Research. It's actually was started at my work, and they got it accredited through the DTC, and you can get master's degrees that are accepted. Like, some of our students have gotten PhDs at like Stanford and stuff like that, so they recognize the credits everywhere, which is very cool.
Did Tom Cruise study there?
No, that's Scientology.
It's different.
But yeah, different. I don't. Does Tom Cruise study things? I don't know.
Seems pretty deep into something.
I know. Don't get me started on Scientology. I'll go off for like an hour and a half. But there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, and I also studied Chinese medicine and acupuncture. I went to school for Oriental medicine. I came like that close to getting the degree, but I didn't want to fly up to Sacramento, and you have to pay a lot of money to get a license and all that, so I didn't bother doing that.
So 9 to 5, you're a librarian?
And people come in, and I just kind of help people find information, and, you know, it's kind of magical how the library works. Like, people come in, and, like, the book will fall off the shelf and open to the page. Like, there's a lot of that kind of stuff, you know, and they're not really sure what they're looking for, and it'll kind of find them, and I kind of help guide them into it. And some days, like, we'll have some days where everyone will come in and everyone's looking for stuff on demons, or another day everyone's looking for stuff on Jesus. People that don't know each other, and they all come in at different times, but there's themes to the days, which I think is very interesting.
So do you believe there's more to life than just like biochemistry?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So are you an occultist?
Well, the word occult means hidden knowledge, so I am someone who studies hidden knowledge. So if you go by what the word means, I would say yes, I am an occultist. But if you think about, like, you know, dancing naked over fires while worshiping Satan,
Yeah, could I get some video of that?
No, I don't really fly that way.
Do you like stick pins in dolls of people you
just
don't
in
like?
people, the acupuncture.
But no, what about
if
dolls?
I don't like them, then I just stick the pins right in them. I don't bother with the doll.
Do you like sacrifice animals?
Oh, no. People don't understand what sacrifice is. They use scapegoats, and in the Bible a lot. Sacrifice is when you give up something of yourself. It doesn't count if you sacrifice someone else. To me, personally, I mean, I just think it's booyah if you sacrifice something. It has to come from yourself to sacrifice, or it doesn't mean anything. So all these people that are sacrificing animals, I don't think they're doing it that way.
So I'm trying to understand, are you more scientific or are you more occultic? Or you're equally both?
I mean, you go back far enough in history, and science and religion are completely together. I mean, shamanism is like the earliest form of science and religion. You can't separate the two from each other. So, I mean, I think any scientist is really a religious fanatic at heart. They're just trying to prove what they feel, but then they also want to, like, disprove it so they don't have to deal with it in a way. I've had some ecstatic experiences myself where I've felt what I interpret to be feeling God, you know, and having an experience of God.
Were you under the influence of drugs at the time?
When I had the experiences, I was not, although I have done drugs in the past. And I
That's
died.
for scientific reasons.
Yes, exactly.
You died.
I died when I was on drugs, and then I had a shamanic experience where I was torn apart and put back together, an initiation, you know, I guess a lot of people would call it. And so after that, I started having these kind of ecstatic experiences, which made me even more interested in studying science and religion, because I could make sense of, you know, things that were happening to me. So.
Were you a man before you died?
Was I a man?
And you came back as a woman?
I don't even know what that means.
Wait, you died and you got brought back together as a completely different...
No. But we're all men and women, actually. We're all hermaphrodites. People don't know, but even in the fetal form, you have both the male and female parts, and then one drops and the other one stays, but it remains inside your body. So We're all just, men and women.
Can you get your mind around this woman?
Not at the moment because I'm cramping up something horrible.
Oh no, he needs to go to the bathroom.
No. It's that time of the month for me.
Oh, exactly.